Recognize the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Wittman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank our witnesses for joining us today. Thanks so much for your service to our nation. General Brown, I want to discuss the cost and exchange ratios between our weapons and weapons of our adversaries. You know, I've talked all the time about the way we win this competition is we have to get more per our dollar than the Chinese get per their yuan or the Russians get per their ruble. And unfortunately today, that's not the case. I know you've supported CCAs and that sort of accumulation of mass where we can do quickly. I think that is absolutely where we need to be. I want to talk a little bit about the unit costs of where we are today. The unit cost for an SM-6 missile is $4 million. The unit cost for Shahed 136, the kamikaze-style drone that is being used by Iran against Israel, being used by the Russians against Ukraine, is $50,000 a copy. I'm not a mathematician, but this is not sustainable. I want to show the other slide, too, where we talk about the annual production for SM-6 missiles. United States, we build 125 SM-6 missiles a year. If you look at the production of the Shahed 136, 6,000 a year. I'm not a mathematician, but this math just doesn't add up. There's no way that we can counter, both in mass and in cost, what we're seeing from our adversaries. And this is in many other areas around the world, and we've seen this developing capability. I want to make sure that we're doing more to do the right thing to counter these threats. I want to know, why does the Joint Staff, using the Joint Requirements Oversight Council, continue to support exquisite requirements in the face of these expendable platforms that our adversaries are using? Listen, we're going to go Winchester really fast, not just on ammunition, but also on money. Tell me, how are we getting to a point of where we are able to counter these Class 3 UAVs with mass and affordability?
Well, I appreciate your question because I'm in the same spot you are. And that's why I often talk about we have to have capability and capacity. It's one thing to have high-end capability but limited capacity, or low-end capability with a lot of capacity. And we've got to be able to balance across that. And so the examples you used for the SM-6, particularly in you look at the events that happened on the 13th of this month, we used a combination of capabilities to include air-to-air missiles, AIM-9Xs and AIM-120s. And so we got to have a range of capabilities in addition to non-kinetic capability, directed energy. And so that's where my focus is as the chairman. And I am very much focused with the JROC to change that perspective to ensure that we are not just focused on this high-end capability, but we focus on a range of capabilities to ensure we have many opportunities and options that are cost-effective against the threat.
Very good. Thank you. Secretary Austin, President Biden has said in the past that we will defend Taiwan if they are attacked by China. In your estimation, do we have the capability and capacity today to adequately equip our forces to pursue this mission of defending Taiwan?
Our military is the most powerful military on the planet, and not only do we have more capability than anyone else, in terms of the ability to use what we have on hand and to integrate fires and to maneuver responsibly and effectively. We also work with allies and partners and increase their capability as well. You've seen us do that pretty effectively in the Indo-Pacific thus far, and we continue to build upon that. AUKUS was mentioned earlier. This is an incredible capability that's a game changer, and it will certainly add to the overall deterrence in the theater. But there are a number of examples like that throughout. So.
Let me drill down a little bit further. When we look at what we're going to face in that theater, we're going to be operating in a highly contested environment, which means we have to be able to reach Chinese assets at long range in order to degrade that environment to a contested environment where we have a much, much better advantage. Tell me, where are we with magazine depth and capability and capacity currently with long-range precision strike weaponry in that theater?
Well, again, I think when you look at our capability, I think we're in a pretty good place. We never have everything that we want, but certainly it's the mix of capabilities that's important here. And that's our goal, to make sure that we have the right mix of capabilities to ensure that we can be effective.
Gentleman's time's expired. Chair, and I recognize